From the Bob Mills Weather Center, meteorologist Andrew Adams.
Well, you wouldn't guess just by looking outside. Nice blue sky across our Lucky Star Skycam network, but it is cold. And notice a couple of these cameras shaking a little bit in the wind. Wind chills, not very comfortable this morning. Lows this morning fell back into the mid-20s here across the metro. 25 in Oklahoma City, 26 in Yukon, as warm as 29 in Mustang, but most of us below that. A hard freeze across the metro and a lot of the state. Some lower 20s to the far west and northwest, and even some 20s all the way down in southeastern Oklahoma, as cold as the teens up in the far panhandle. Check out Cimarron County, there's a 12 out there. So that 25 this morning, almost 20 degrees below our normal for this time of year. That's our coldest morning since mid-March of this year. So this has been a pretty chilly stretch. We've now seen 2 days below freezing this season so far here in Oklahoma City. A little bit more up to the northwest, but overall starting to see the numbers stack on as the state has been cooling down the last few days. Cold front came through at the end of this past week, brought some rain, which was awesome, and brought in the colder air, which honestly kind of welcome. You look at the state so far, still above average temperature-wise, a lot of 80s. We were near 90 degrees early on in the month. It was pretty warm. Today, none of that. This afternoon, all the way through this afternoon, wind chills in the 30s here in central Oklahoma. By the time we're getting trick-or-treating or wrapping up trick-or-treating, I know a lot of trick-or-treating is done around 8:30. Well, here's 7 o'clock. Feels like 29 degrees here in Oklahoma City. Elsewhere around the state, low 30s and 20s. Overnight, feels like the 20s and teens again. Another very cold morning before temperatures start to rebound a little bit tomorrow afternoon, back in the 50s. So trick-or-treating in Oklahoma City this evening, clear. That's the good news. The less good news is that it is cold and the wind chills will be noticeable, but fortunately, the winds themselves will start to lighten up as we continue through the evening and overnight tonight, as Arctic air will pull away. We warm things up the next few afternoons. By the time we get to Bedlam on Saturday, we're going to be in the 70s. So some nice warmer conditions return to the state, but cold front comes through by the end of the weekend. It's going to cool things down a little bit. Doesn't look as potent of a cold front as what we got this week, but a little bit cooler. That Arctic air looks like it'll hold up in the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, and we just stay on just the cooler side. We'll see that on the 9-day. It's not as scary of a cold front as this one was. That really cooled things down. There's the wind blowing the flags on our Integris Cam and our Lucky Star Skycam network. 35 degrees right now at Will Rogers. The pink freezing line is starting to bubble and expand as temperatures are increasing very slowly this morning. Still below freezing up to the northwest, far western Oklahoma, some areas across the south. 29 right now in Guymon, so extra chilly for some. North wind, though, that's something that we're really noticing this morning. It's gusting 15 to 30 miles per hour. It will relax throughout the day, but with any wind and as cold as we are, it's going to make things feel colder. It feels like the mid-20s across central Oklahoma, some low 20s to the west, 21 in Clinton right now, 24 Woodward, 23 Enid, so chilly up across the north as well. And that's just kind of the fixture we have. Well, we have these winds. The 40s this afternoon are going to feel more like the 30s. So another chilly one, a cold one tonight. Ice cold, temperatures in the low 20s, 24 Oklahoma City, 22 Clinton, some low 20s across the north tomorrow morning. So one more really cold morning with a hard freeze across the state of Oklahoma before temperatures start to spring back up. It's the beginning of it. We're back in the 50s tomorrow with the potential for some 60s up to the far northwest. And again, Bedlam, the chance for 70s is there by halftime, 72 degrees. That'll be nice. And then that night, we fall back. It's hard to believe it is that time of year, but we're falling back. We're losing that hour, and I'm looking forward to it. Get that extra hour of sleep.
There you go.
Feels good. And
we're not complaining.
Yeah, can't complain about that, but yes, a cold trick or treat, guys.
Thanks, Andrew. Hey, the cutest